everybody, to tonight's Plume of Hazards, Plumes of Hazards, Plumerias of Hereditarias. I am MassBlast09, Understudy 77, the Angstful Vapor, and still in the shower, Fubaka, making himself all pretty for no one. I can't wait till he sees this.
That's low, man.
Hey, there was that chick in the comments who wanted to know if he was married.
Oh, that's true.
Could be for her.
That's true.
So let's go ahead and present him.
Yeah, present him. Present the chair.
Oh, this
is gonna be great. He's gonna he's gonna walk in and he's gonna be like halfway. Oh my goodness! I can't believe we're doing this live. Bring it to you live.
He's not presenting.
Can we get him a new chair? I mean, we do have a juice line now that is making us like 50 cents every month. Like, can we pull up resources and get her a new chair?
No.
Yeah.
Now he's presenting.
All right. So was that loud?
Huh?
Yeah.
No, sorry. I just realized that I kind of clapped kind of right next to my mic. I kind of went, nah. Anyway, I won't do it.
That was loud.
Oh crap, Masty.
Wow. What you do?
There we go.
Delicioso.
Indeed. So there's that. Hi everybody. Welcome back from the crazy holidays. It was weird. We were coming up with a name, and we're like, I don't have a name. We've got stuff to talk about. I've got no creative juices today. And I'm blaming it on the holidays. Also, Ahmed was busy, and he often comes up with some of our hangout names or show names, so he just kind of went the crapper. Hey, Ahmed, what are you vaping on? Oh shit! There's somebody talking on our old thing.
Tugboat.
So before we get too far, we should mention, and you just caught an external, but we do have a new chat, and it's not. Don't freak out anybody. It's not like a new chat. What it is we've moved IRC servers to host it ourselves. Yeah. So if you logged on from a client instead of through the Omen page like we've been on for a very long time, so instead of being on Freenode, we are now on ourselves. If you have your own client, it's irc.theomenpage.com. Port is 6667, and you can hop right over and talk with us. Or of course, obviously theomenpage.com/live.
And don't go to the old one.
All the live stuff will be on hashtag the Omen page, the channel. But then we also have another channel called hashtag Discourse, which is just kind of a general lobby if you want to hop in and chat throughout the day. And you're bored. Since we're hosting our own server now, we can do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, made it.
So a bunch of people logged out earlier, and it's like all at once.
Here we go again.
Very concerning.
We might still be having issues with Shout, so we're working on it. We're looking.
We're gonna weed out some bugs. Hey, what's up, Ahmed? Oh wait, he doesn't have his headphones on.
No, I do.
Oh, word. How you doing? What are you vaping on, sir?
I didn't realize that we were live already.
Welcome.
It's all good. I was in the shower. Hi.
You look clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple days. I've been under the weather, so a shower is what I really needed. Anyway, I've got this flask. It's an Origeni with Foos Gold in there.
Mm.
The only thing I've been vaping on is this Vape 4 Light.
Ooh.
With a hurricane on it.
Double ooh.
With some abolishment in there. It's good when you're sick. If your throat's like fucked up, right? I try to hit the dripper.
So good.
Even the raspberry, the 6 milligrams, a little throaty. I couldn't do that. So the abolishment, maybe the occasional toot of Foos Gold here and there, but it's a good sick vape.
The old abolishment is good out of the hurricane, isn't it?
It's really good out of the hurricane.
I think it's best out of the hurricane.
I think so too, because I wasn't too hot on the juice when I tried it. Like, I liked it, but I couldn't like rock it on the reg because I dripped it. And I'm like, no. So, fantastic out of here.
I just bought a bell cap for a hurricane, and I don't own a hurricane.
Masty?
Can I help you?
Chat Adri just said, "Hello, Mass Blast. It's your sister. Love you." I couldn't let that not be called attention to. Hello.
Oh, I got zoomed up on his face. Perfect time too.
Oh boy. So Matt, let's see. Ahmed went. I'm going to go next. I have got the tosser stick, and inside of that is a relatively stumpy little hurricane in there, and on top I've got a neat little drip tip. We'll talk about in a little bit. Abolishment is inside, of course. On the JMFD, I've got a Narda with another cool drip tip on top, and inside of here is way up here. And on the Vape Forward Stout 26650 mod, I've got an M-Addy on top. And in here is Derailment, Rail Cracker specifically. And those are the three primary things that I've got going on. I'm going to be switching here, I think, in a second, but we're good for now. Sean.
I have a tosser stick with the Cloud 1 and Abolishment. This is like repeating at this point. I have a white Stout.
Ooh.
With a Narda filled with mass tea. And I have a JMFD with a Pico, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, filled with what?
A Pico?
Pico.
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 Pico is the ice things that you eat as a kid.
Mm.
And pica is when kids just pick shit up and eat it.
That's right. That's the plicking of the eyebrows and the eating the hair and the whatnots, yeah.
Masty, how about you?
Just Masty and the no, I'm not giving it back to freaking Rosy Cheeks. I just whatever.
His one of my vaping on segment gets shorter every week.
It's just gonna be bam. Actually, here I should do this. So I got on the Reefer Flask Light, designed by Vape Forward USA, manufactured by Wizamek Prototype. I have Mass Tea in here. I have on the PAX Jewel. Let's see which one. What do I have in here? Stash BB and Jam.
That crackle factor in that thing.
That crackle. And I am so, and I'm rocking Crescent City Clouds Pineapple Sherbet Beta on the JMFD.
I was gonna say, is this the part where you then pull up your squonker and go, and I have a squonking mod and a bottom fed pin and no atomizer?
No, because I'm not Sean.
All right. Well, now that that's out of the way, we discussed when to do this talk. This is hostful, so it's a little more freeform, of course. And this time we've got something kind of cool to talk about. Last year, and if you're a member of our Facebook group and or Discourse, you've probably seen this already, but we're still going to go the rundown because some people aren't. Last year, at our 1 year anniversary, we decided to, we had some of our hosts or some of our guests hit us up and are like, hey, big anniversary coming up, you want to give stuff away? We said, sure. We did a giant giveaway, and it was an enormous pain in the ass. So this year, we were kicking it around, like what can we do this year to make this not only run a little more smoothly, but also be cooler. And what we came up with was, instead of just doing a giveaway, we should have the people that want the cool stuff kick some money back to charity. And by charity, I do not mean in our pockets. We mean to someone that's actually, a charitable organization. So all four of us, each one of us, picked out one charity which we thought would be cool and worthwhile. Actually, do you want to go over those?
Yeah, I think we should.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Normal
So let's get through the thing, and then we can come back. We'll circle back and talk about it because I think it's important. So we all each picked a charity. We also threw a couple options for promoting vaping advocacy here in the States. The short of it is that the easiest way to explain it is every $10 that you donate to any of those charities, either $10 to one of them, or $10 to all 6 of them, or $50 to 3 of them, or whatever you want to do. Every single $10 increment that you give, you get entered in one time for this giveaway. We have got a crap load of stuff that was all donated by our friends in the industry, and we do say thank you we're going to say thank you a lot. But we're going to go ahead and say thank you right now. These guys are great, and they've donated a bunch of cool gear, cool juice for you guys to win.
So let's take a pause on that and just kind of give the specific shout out for that. Yeah.
No, let's tell them where to go. Right.
Sure. Should we? Well, I do want to say thank you specifically to some of the vendors too.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna put a link to the Discourse page right now in chat, so you can see where it is. In the middle of this post, you can see a Google Doc. Once you have donated, whoever you end up donating to, take a screenshot that's got your, like a date and your name, or date and your email address, or something with the amount, so we can verify that it went to the right spot. Take a screenshot, fill out that doc, and hit go. Right, that will be your actual entry into this thing. That's the basic. Give some money, put your shit in the doc. Give some money, put your shit in the doc. Okay, there. Let's go over the people that gave cool stuff. Boom.
So, yeah, that's the basic. If anybody who's watching the replay of this, if you're looking for this link, it's the top thing, charity information, link to this Discourse thread that tells you how to do it. So it's right there in the video description already, so you can find it really easy, right there at the top. So we're going to be running this for a week. This isn't just tonight. We're going to be running this for a week.
Yep. We're not going to do the drawing until next week on the show.
Next week is our 2-year anniversary show. That's when we'll do the drawing. So first off, thank you to the vendors, and I'm just going to go down a freaking list here. Vape Dojo, Vape Forward Vapor Flask, Double Helix Designs, Lane Cove, Po Juice. Of course we donated shit. We had to.
Mrs. T's Bakery.
Captivate, Kudzu Industries, Cloud Chasers Incorporated, Avid Vapor / Cisco and Dino, Evolve, Crescent City Clouds, Omen, Tekasui, Labrat Liquids, Silverstein Vapor, Craving Vapor, Chatto, Axis Vapes, DB Liquids, Vera Tube, modmaker.co.uk, Homeboy, Hazetown Vapes, Narmods.
Ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Awesome.
And Stashy Liquids too. I don't know if you told them to.
Oh, and Stashy Liquids.
Yep.
I thought you were going to do that, Massey. That's why I didn't do it.
I was going to, but then I thought about
Chopped Liver Industries.
All right, so lots of cool stuff to give away. The other thing there's a little bit more detail, just so you know, what we did, we broke up all these crazy prizes into tiers. The first tier is going to be unlocked anyway. If you guys break $500, we're going to unlock the second tier, which you already have. Huh?
We already did that.
Yes, we did. So right now, the first and second tier of all of those prizes will be given away, next week on the show. Now we've got a little bit more room to go to unlock tier number 3, which is for $1,000. We're almost there. We're 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah.
They want to know if Understudy's baby is going to be in the raffle.
No, because she's too limited edition.
No, she's already been traded for a Geppetto float.
So the next tier 3 is at $1,000, and tier 4, which is got several really cool things in there, is going to be at $1,500. Now, that said, that is not a limit. The $1,500, we want that to be the bare minimum. These guys, we just listed off, have donated almost $7,000 worth of stuff.
Over $7,000 worth of stuff.
That's crazy. Extraordinarily generous. We want to not only give away all that stuff, we also really want to raise some money for one of the charities. So, on that note, let's talk about charities. Fu, you want to go chat order? What was the one that you picked?
I believe mine was the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. I think it was a mouthful. Yes, the PCRF. Angsty.
So mine is it's the my mind just went blank. Salvation Army has got a specific fund for. I don't know if you heard, but here in the DFW area in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, right over Christmas break, we had tornadoes, I think they were F4s, to come through right in the middle of the cities, and it wrecked a lot of homes. Nice neighborhoods, not nice neighborhoods. There's a lot of devastation, and the people lost their entire houses. There were fires, of course, because of electrical fires and gas fires and all that sort of stuff. So those guys have weighed in to help, and there is a specific fund for that, which is the one that I decided to pick. Sean?
I picked probably the charity that is nearest and dearest to me. I donate to them every year. If you're into like nerdy online culture kind of things, there's a group of guys who do a webcomic called Penny Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And they started a charity a few years back called Child's Play, which is basically bringing books, video games, movies, and stuff like that into hospitals for kids who are going to be there over the holidays, and so that these hospitals can have a budget for kids who have to stay in hospital for a long time. They take like 6% off the top for administration fees, which is incredibly low.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of good, so that is my pick. Mast?
I went ahead and went with St. Jude's, and continuing with what Titan and Eric from Silver's team did. So I went ahead and wanted to add to that and pick that one myself. So it's a children's hospital, and they do awesome stuff. So that's what I chose.
Word.
And then you can also, outside of those four, donate to CASA or Not Blowing Smoke. We want to give the option to donate to some charities that we really strongly believe in, or donate to help save vaping. Either one is a win.
Yep.
So you get your pick from that list of 6. Any of those 6 you can pick from, and the prize list is fantastic, and it's going to be an awesome 2-year bash, I think.
I think so, and hopefully it'll go a lot, less long. Because last year, it was like a 3-hour show or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5 hours. It was.
We have simplified the process a little bit, and I will say this, and I think we can say this here, right? Can we say this here?
Yeah.
If you can, I'll just say if you can catch it live, come live.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. If you can make it live, come live.
It's a good idea. So if there's any, let's see, I'm trying to go through some of the facts, so to speak, that we've already been asked. One of which was, can you win more than once? The answer is yes, you can, if you have more than one ticket. So if you win in one of the tiers, and we're going to be doing the giveaways by tier, if you win one of the tiers, that your name will be taken out of it. But if you have, 4, if you've donated $40 and you've got 4 names in there, they'll just take the one out the one, and the next, 3 will still be in as we go through the giveaway. So that's cool. What else? The other thing that people have had a hard time with is a screenshot. High level on a Mac. If you have a Mac, if you hit Command-Shift-4, you can draw a box, and when you let go of your mouse, it'll take a picture of that and put it on your desktop. Right there, you go. Drag it and drop it onto Imager.com, imgur.com, and it'll upload. You don't need an account. There's just a button at the top that says upload. Just upload it. It'll just be there. If you're not on a Mac, what's it, Masty? What's it in Windows? It's not Snagit, it's Snippet.
Well, the snippet, yeah. If you're on Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, if you just go down to the search bar and type in snip, S-N-I-P, you'll see the snipping tool that comes up, and you can actually pick the area of your screen that you want to choose, and then you can save that.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then you can save that and upload it, or you could hit Alt Print Screen. If you want to grab the whole screen, the snippet tool is nice because you can just choose, an area. So there you go.
That's right.
You need some form of date information, identifying information, and the charity amount to be in the screenshot.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you're on a phone on iOS, I know you can hold down the home button and hit the sleep wake button. And that'll take a picture of your screen. Then it saves it to your camera roll, just like you took a picture. Massey, what is it in the? I'm sure it's similar in Android.
Well, it depends on the phones, but usually the like for example on an S6, the center button and the power button at the same time will grab the screen cap.
Same as iOS.
And there's screen cap programs too out there if you want. So. Sure.
All right. So hopefully that those are the only ones that I know of. Are there any other big questions that you've been asked, Sean?
No, not really. I mean that largely covers it up. What the charities are, the tiers are kind of there. If you look at the discourse thread, it'll tell you exactly what's in each tier. There are a few things that haven't been added yet in those pictures that we need to add, but for the most part, it's a very good representation of everything that we're giving away.
Yeah.
Pending that we meet our minimum mark of $1,500, I'm really hoping that we blow that out of the water.
Yes. Yep. I agree. That would be cool. All right. Well, if you guys have any other questions, obviously put them up in chat, and we'll try to pull those questions into to cover it. But until then, let's do news. Foo, you got anything to talk about today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got at least a couple things to talk about today.
At least a couple things.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
But today's fortune cookie reads: Vape forward is Russian for Charlie's cheeks.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, I got myself a Hurricane last week. Got on Mod Trader. I got a bit of a peculiar arrangement, I guess. The guy who sold it to me did not have the stock cap and whatever, which I didn't really give a fuck for anyway. I got it with a bell cap.
Mm-hmm.
It was good because I already won one and I wasn't going to use the thing. And guess whose guide I used to build it? That's right, your boy, Angsty. His guide on Discourse. I already had a general idea of what I was looking at, but in terms of the wicking, I do. You hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
Someone came home.
Oh.
I live with elephants. Anyway, like that. I did a single 26 10 wrap build around 3mm. Barely fits. It's like K-Fun style in that you're mounting the coil between the two screws, but you have a little more room to work with. And well, not really, because if you build 3mm, it's like just clearing each screw.
Yeah, there's like 0.5 millimeter between those posts.
Abolishment tastes really fucking good out here. It's not very hard to build. You use a lot more wick with this tank than you would in like other RTAs, at least that I've used. K-Fun
compared to the K-Fun, yeah.
K-Fun, I think I use like a third of a strip, maybe a little less than half of a strip of cotton. This one I use like 2/3.
Yeah. Well, it's big fatty coil.
Yeah, it's a big coil. You gotta run the wick like this. So.
Can I hang on one second, Ahmed? Anxious, remember how you were talking about my sisters in chat? I just got a message on Facebook that says, "You better give me a shout out, you little hoe."
Who? Are you gonna give him a shout out?
So Audrey, you better shut up before I call Mom and tell her to go punch you in your face. Because you're 19 years old, still living at home. How's that shout out? Go get a job. How's that shout out?
That's my favorite part of like the last like 2 months of shows.
Wait! I can't wait till she says something in chat now.
Oh man, that was good. All right.
You think I'm joking? I'll send you the I put the image up of her Facebook messaging in our sibling chat that we have. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the same thing with my siblings. We have our own group chat and we shit on each other constantly. So.
I want to know why it took her 2 years to show up to a show.
You have to get big time enough for her to bother.
No, it's because her boyfriend vapes and whatever.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working at the shop, one of my coworkers called me while I was doing the show, and I picked up, and I'm like, dude, I'm live right now. He's like, I don't see you talking. I'm like, yeah, we're delayed. I'm like, watch this. His name is Jeremy, and I proceeded to tell him, fuck you, Jeremy, to which he turned it off after that. So if anyone remembers that, it was probably when the first 15 to 20 episodes of Plumes that happened.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
I had to guess, yeah. But anyway, back to the Hurricane.
Yeah.
This big tank, I don't even know how much...
Back to this.
Back to this style wick. Anyway. I don't know how much this tank holds. It's enough to where maybe I refill it like 2 times a day, 3 times a day. If I had to guess, it's like somewhere between 2.5 and 3 mils.
Well, I haven't had that brand. I've just got the Chris Munn style, and this.
I think they're almost identical in terms of design.
I think so too.
So I imagine their capacity is about the same.
It has to be more than 2.5, 3 mils.
This is the E-Phoenix cap.
Yeah.
That they sell.
This is 2.5, 3 mils.
Yeah. No, I bet it's 3.5.
But if you look here, I don't know if I'll be able to capture it on my camera. You see those little bowling ball holes?
Mm-hmm.
Little pin arranged. That's how you know it's an E-Phoenix cap. The Mun caps are just clean through, like all bell.
Yeah.
Caps.
Well, and they've also got an angle on it.
She just said I didn't hear it. Say it again. Nope. You're gonna have to go watch the replay.
Yeah, dude, she could rewind it live.
Yep, you can rewind it live, so I can't wait. Make sure you put your response in the chat.
You see here, this is the suggestion box. So any complaints or things you might have to.
Yeah, I can't read any messages. I can't read any messages on Facebook right now. You have to put them in chat.
But yeah, thank you to the guy that sold it to me. You know who you are. He does watch Plumes. So yeah, I mean on this thing, no less, which a lot of us have received on the Vape Forward Lite.
Yeah.
It's like half a flask. It feels like.
Yeah.
Because it's got that same contour.
More like a kidney bean.
So it's like literally like half of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like this thing so far. I just got it today. One of the most compact single battery mods. I think these retail for $70.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Vape-forward.com, I think.
And of course, first thing I had to go for. Fuck, which way does it go? There you go, that way. That shit. Someone asked me, they're like, are you going to go and do the time battery change? I'm like, no.
$80, by the way. $79.
$79.99. And this thing does, like, what, 75 watts on a single battery, so that's like $1.01 cents. $1.08 per watt.
I thought it was like 50 watts.
75.
Is it 75?
Hmm?
What's the Stout?
100.
Oh. I thought it was 60.
Nope. All the wattages.
How did I know it did 75? Because that was the wattage I was at when I first put the battery in. I was like, damn, I thought this thing did 60 watts. But I like it. Stainless buttons.
Buttons are nice.
Screen's nice. It feels sturdy for what it is. The single battery mod. I haven't dropped it yet. I haven't even dropped Mass X Flask yet. It hasn't had like a fall like while I'm driving, falling out of my seat. That doesn't count.
No.
It hasn't had like a traditional fall. Neither is this. I haven't taken it out of the house yet. It's cold. I'm sick and fuck doing that today.
Do you want to go around the room on the Vape Forward stuff, Angsty?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
I like it so far. You'll be hearing my updates as I continue to use it.
Sure. This is so the flask, or the flask. The Stout is the 26650 version of what Foo's got there, and it uses a giant fatty 26650. This is my first regulated 26650 that I've owned. In fact, now that I say that, it's the first 26650 mod I've ever owned. I've played with mechs that have this better, but I've never owned one to really take it through its paces. I think one of my favorite things about this is the fact that it ships with this. And what this is it's an adapter to put an 18650 in it, which I think is a really nice addition, right? If you the 26s are not the most common thing in the world, but 18650s are. So drop this thing in there, it just slams back up just like you would the regular thing. Boot and Jay, do you battery race that one? Yeah, actually at the party, Preston did it when he was there with the Stout, so that he could be the first world record, because he was the first one to do it, and it was pretty fast. The only problem with this one is when a 26 falls out of this thing and slams onto the counter, you know, you definitely know. He may have done it on glass. That may have been a bad idea. It didn't break, but do be careful. Thomas77 just asked to show the screen. I think that's probably a good idea. So let me do that. So currently I have this set. Ooh, boom, there you go. At 33.
That's great. My bad, Thomas.
So you've got the normal sort of battery indicator. You got your voltage indicator and your resistance. Oop, resistance there, and then your wattage. Now this thing does some similar things to like an Evolve or Yeehee board, in that you can switch the screen, left-handed, right-handed. I tend to use my left hand, so I've got it so I can see that way. But it can be flopped over the other side of it. The other thing, one of the things I think is kind of cool, 5 clicks off, and it says vape forward when you do that. But if you hold all 3 down and wait for just a second, it actually pops up. Oh, I got a bloody cuticle, gross. It actually gives you your battery voltage, which I think is kind of a neat feature. It also has a pass-through option, so in case you didn't want to have it regulated, if you didn't want to be limited to where it currently is, you can just set it to pass through. It does do temperature limiting with, by default, I think it's nickel and titanium, but if you do their update that they have, which I'm pretty sure you can get through vape-forward.com, you might have to go through Joytech. I forget. In any event, if you grab that thing, you can download it for Windows and Mac, and you can get the little client. You plug in with USB to your computer. Really easy to update the firmware. The new one that's out for these things does have a customizable TCR, so you can put in a value to change your TCR around if you're using something else. But it does support titanium, stainless, nickel, and then the custom ones. I think there's like 2 spots to put custom things in there. Pretty good. So here's my problem. My problem with the Stout is not the Stout. My problem with the Stout is this. So I bought a couple MNKEs because in my brain, when I thought 26s, I thought MNKEs because they've been around for a long time, supposedly work pretty well. I went and bought a couple of them from a local shop and found weak battery messages very quickly. I talked to Mooch, and he said, well, that's weird because he found his MNKs to be testing very well. In fact, one of the best ones he's tested. But he said, well, why don't we swap? So yeah, I sent mine over to him. He sent me these MXJOs. Now, the MXJO guys tested in his tests about 10% better in general overall than the MNKEs. And come to find out, with the MNKEs, there's at least 2 versions floating around that are available through legitimate dealers, and the one that I got to, we're pretty sure is legit. So there's a couple versions out there. The stock is kind of old because they haven't been moving really fast. So even if you get legit ones, they might be a little weird, right? And talking to Mooch, these cells, because of size, are prone to damage. Because they tend to build up some heat inside, and I'm not going to
start talking about batteries, and Mooch shows up in chat.
Speak of the devil. So I'm not going to pretend to be the expert he is, and I'm not going to try to parrot everything that he said back to me. But the short of it is, these 26s sag. Even good ones like the MNKs, and even good ones like the MXJOs, they sag, and you end up getting a little weak battery message here very quickly. Now, I am not a terribly high wattage vapor, as you guys well know. Most of my dual coils are between 33 and 42 watts, and even at that thing, I can get through about 75% on the battery, maybe half on the battery meter before it starts throwing.
What do you get down to in battery voltage?
So the best that I've found so far is around 3.7.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, since everybody's saying hi to Mooch, I got a sound clip from Mooch.
Mucho.
So let's add. I want to expand on that a little bit, though.
Yes.
Because I have MNKEs that I had for my Stig that I'm still using with the Stout. I get down to 3.5 without a problem. Because I'm vaping at the same wattage as you, but my build's 1.7 ohm.
You're also vaping at like 24 watts.
No, I vaped this one down at 33.3.
Oh, is that right?
0 milligram.
So to that point, I mean, mine is a very reasonable 0.87, so it's not like it's huge. And those batteries, maybe you have the other type of MNKs that work better.
Yeah, but the MXJOs should work fine too.
The MXJOs were the ones that I was able to tax down to around 3.7.
Yeah, I'm getting a 3.5 on MNKEs. The MXJOs should still perform better.
Yeah.
So, does that mean that the safe statement is if you're comfortable vaping at above an ohm, to 1.5 ohms, you're probably okay. But you might not be okay if you want to go lower than that for load on 26650.
Cat Dumpling just said, "Holy shit! Did the high horse get a new hat?"
Yeah, we went over that like 2 weeks ago.
Be nice to the dumpling.
I got three of this hat.
Yeah.
3?
But yeah, so I think, you know, the only difference in the builds, and your battery should perform 10% better than mine, is ohm, so load, so...
Right? It's weird. So I will say that I did have one discharge that went lower. I think it went out of 3.6. And I found this while I was on the phone with Charlie, which is cool. So he and I were going back and forth trying to figure out different things to put on here and see, you know, how things worked. Now with a full charge, this thing absolutely will ramp up to, I think the max is 9 volts. Absolutely will go all the way up right at 100 watts. No, not a problem. But then as it discharges, it starts weak battering, you know.
So Mooch said that my M and keys are the good ones?
Yes.
Just from looking at me holding up the blurry picture, and that you had the bad ones.
Right. That's absolutely true.
But you're still having the same problem with the MXJFs.
Similar problem, not as bad. These ones definitely work a little bit better. And honestly, they're new batteries that Mooch had not abused yet and broken in. So I'm still going through, you know, these initial charges. Maybe it'll get better, right? Maybe we know full well that the doo-doo browns, which I'm a big fan of, and we all are,
have a little bit of a break-in period.
They have a break-in period. They absolutely do. I was recharging those things, getting like 1,700, I think, in my first charge, and then it went up by like 100 mAh every time I recharged them. Now they're, you know, most of 2,500.
Where these I had with the Stigs, so I've had and used these in the cycle for a little while.
I even use rechargeable batteries in my Xbox controller when I play on my PC. Same thing there. I bought rechargeable batteries, and it just went. Once it gets going, it gets going.
So that'll probably be a report back kind of thing.
Most definitely.
Do you have anything else on the Stout? Because I have some stuff about the Stout that you don't have about the Stout.
That's entirely possible. Let's see, what else about the Stout? I think overall, I still just like it's basically built a lot like what Ahmed was saying. The battery door is brilliant. The MXJOs are a little bit shorter, I think, than the MNKs. Those I had to get in there a little bit more to click in, and you know, I had to work at it just a little bit more. These guys fit in there a little bit more smoothly. What else was there? I already talked about this flippy thing. The buttons are good. It fits really well in the hand. You can pretty much, you know, I feel like pretty comfortable punching somebody with this. That would be okay. My hand would be fine. I think that's about it. My 510 was a little tight at first, but as I screwed off and on addies, it absolutely broke in, and now I can take stuff down to be pretty much level without much of a gap, depending on obviously the length of your pin. Mine does seem to have a little bit of a tilt. But anyway, some of those things are really niggles. The bottom line is this is a 100-watt mod, works pretty damn well. My issues are mostly to do with battery, and I think, in my opinion, I think what it was is I think the board is just it's a little wiggy on voltage sag. I think it's expecting a little bit more voltage that's available, and it'll throw the weak battery a little early on the 26s specifically, because that's what it do. Right? Not as much the 18s. I'm sure the light and the classic are probably not as susceptible to this. That's my assumption. I don't have one. Otherwise, I'd tell you.
Sure. One thing I would like to point out about the black finish in particular, I got it because I wanted the black. Because fuck you. The finish does like to pick up a little bit of my my fingerprints and all that.
Your natural grease.
Yeah, all my soul glow that'd be seeping out my pores.
Yep. That's absolutely. I mean, yeah.
But I still like the way it feels. So I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
So I got the white version, which I quite like. The finish is very nice on it, like the other ones. But I have a problem that you don't, Brian.
What?
Let me see if I can make this show up.
Mine spits at me and calls me pretentious.
That's true. You do that? Yeah.
My battery rattles.
Oh God! You know, this is Charlie right now. He's going like this.
I'm just. It does. My battery rattles is pretty fucking bad, actually.
Either that or he's going like this, making his cheeks rosier.
No. I will say, with the
bigger batteries than you are, bro.
Yeah. Well,
And my battery rattles.
that's length, and I imagine the diameter is
Sure,
pretty
but-
close. But I will say it does rattle with the adapter, but mine does not rattle with either the M keys nor with the MXJ.
Mine rattles very easily. Like if I pick it up and like toss it in my hand, I feel the battery shift, and that irritates the piss out of me. I really like everything about this mod except that fucking battery rattle. That really irritates me because it makes it feel less solid. When something like that moves inside, especially like that the heavy component, the battery, it makes it feel less solid.
Crucify him.
Other than that, I really like it.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Master, you got anything about the light you want to talk about?
I think you guys have done enough damage.
Yeah, that's about the only. That's
Charlie still owes me $100. Can I get my $100 first before?
There you go.
No, actually, so I don't have the production one yet because Charlie's Charlie. But anyways, I've been using the prototype, for weeks, and I do know that there are improvements and changes.
Yeah.
And we already went over a lot of that stuff. It's worked just fine. I don't have any issues with the door. I've ran, plenty of batteries through it. Like there's no gaps or anything like that. So, I mean, obviously this is the prototype, but I don't have any complaints. I've been running it at 70 watts. I have a 0.16 ohm coil on here, so it's running at 3.35, and it's been running fine. So I think when I get the production one, I'm going to get the light again. I really like it. The Stout's fine, but I don't want to single out. It's going to be down to user preference. But to me, the size difference and weight difference, again, the Stout, you can put an 18650 in it. There's no I don't have any need for getting a Stout. I like the light, and I don't want to get the full size one. So 26650 batteries just aren't there. I mean, we just talked about this.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna get a little bit more mAh out of them, but
Not much. I mean, when I recharge mine, I'm getting between 2,000 and 2,200 mAh back into it, and I can get that doo-doo and have a much. That's why I'm waiting for the white lights to come in because I want a white light.
Yeah,
this is great. It's good.
Yep.
Natural limitation of the battery. What are you gonna do?
My mass T is now unfortunately in 0 milligram empty, so we'll be switching to Red Rhapsody by Elaborate Liquids.
I'm almost out.
Get it.
That's why I'm not vaping it right now. All right. Back to Foo. Anything else, Foo, on your front?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else really to discuss. Quite happy with my purchase. I'll say that.
We didn't talk about the Classic. You want to talk about the Classic for a sec?
The Classic? Yeah, I mean, I have the prototype.
Yeah.
150
watt.
150 watts, but it has a 25 amp limit. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got to build like a 0.3 ohm coil, 0.4 to get the max. It feels like a flask. Battery door here, which was a little weird getting used to. I'm used to using the SX flask. Obviously, this is a prototype, so like the panel's a little wobbly. It's not the case on the production ones. It's these batteries are stacked, but I mean I get a good amount of battery on this, at least with my bellow on it, which is what I've been running. Before that, I had the Origin dripper with same exact build, around the same wattage. So this is nice. I was actually on the fence. I didn't know which one to order. I think I was talking with you. I had each of them in my cart separately, and I wanted to give a single battery mod a try for once, and I did that. But the Classic is nice. It's beefy.
Yeah, well, it's got that flash shape, which is
yeah. But it pockets nice. I always tell people that when they look at my flask and they think it's too big. I'm like, yeah, but it pockets nicely.
Does pocket nice.
And it's comfy. All right. So there's that. So my first thing I wanted to talk about briefly was Railcracker. I told you a week or two ago when I was on vacation for Christmas, I killed a battery. They kindly sent over another one. I put it in a different bottle because I like to drip out of a unicorn bottle. So I pulled the label off and put it on here. It's still very tasty. It's still one of the things that I've been using to test drippers along with Lab Rat stuff. Both of which I really quite enjoyed out of the dripper. I haven't put it in a tank yet. Sean, has anybody else put it in a tank?
I put it in the Uber Toot, and it was lovely.
Yeah?
And I put it in the Origene, and it was also lovely.
Origene would absolutely think
it was surprisingly lovely in the Uber Toot. I really, really enjoyed it.
I told the creator, he got an Origene today, I told him to put in there, he's like, I don't like Railcracker at low wattage. I was like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good in both.
Yep, okay. Good enough. Still loving it. So thank you for sending that over my way. Next up, Narda.
I finally have fully formed thoughts about this thing.
Narda. We talked about the Narda a little while back. If you weren't around, real briefly, let's just show you the coolest thing, in my opinion, about it. It's that weird deck. You've got two posts, and then you've got two little airflow channels that come from the outside and just dump air on both sides of a coil. That not only gives you a lot of air to a single coil, it gives you nice production and all that sort of stuff. It also makes it relatively leak resistant. It's not leak proof, but you can drip that doo-doo out of this thing and put it on its side, and since you've got bumps basically right before it's going to piss out the side, unlike a regular traditional dripper, this thing. I have really liked using it, but I think Sean's probably in a different place, because I think what this thing does really well is what I like.
I'm not in a different place though, because it's made me reevaluate.
Oh, is that right? So what we're talking about is a restricted lung. So you get two of these little slots, right, which is plenty of air for a lung hit. It's not a mutation X, phenotype L style, just giant inhale, but it's just a great lung, a restricted lung. But it's making you reevaluate. Is that right?
So I got this in about the same time, like a day after you, or like 2 days after you.
Yeah.
And I vaped it for a while. Mouth to lung, and everybody asked me how I thought mouth to lung about this Addy, and I always said I'm not sure yet. I went through build after build and tried a whole bunch of different things, and here's the unfortunate fact of the matter: it is not a great mouth to lung Addy. It is a decent mouth to lung Addy. It is not a great mouth to lung Addy, but it is the best restricted lung Addy I have ever used. The density and the flavor from it in a restricted lung setting is just stunning.
Yes.
Where it has made me reevaluate is, for a long time I had been planning on attempting to make the switch to 0. And this Addy kind of makes me want to do that, because I can't lung inhale nicotine. So this Addy kind of makes me want to try again to make the switch to 0, because I enjoy vaping it so freaking much.
Yeah.
In that way, as a restricted lung Addy, not as a mouth to lung Addy.
Right.
And that's
it gets a little. You can tell them why, because around the airflow, you have to shut it down. Since it's got 2, it forces you
to shut it way down. Residual juice within the tank kind of gets in the way of the airflow. Because of the way it's coming in, with 2, it's very difficult to get locked in right. You have to pretty much build a much smaller coil to get what you want out of it, and it doesn't function as well like that as it does with a nice big beefy coil and a lot of cotton.
Yeah.
It is a decent mouth to lung Addy, but it's not as good as like the Snapdragon or something mouth to lung. That's what everybody wants me to compare it to. For it. Mouth to lung, the Snapdragon is still on top for me.
Yeah.
Restricted lung, though, this beats everything that I've ever tried. This beats the M-Addies that I've tried. It blows away everything that I've tried in the restricted lung market. Not only because it's virtually leak-proof, but because that the way the airflow works and how small that chamber is, it's just so dense and rich, that flavor.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about it in that configuration, which is pretty much what it was designed for anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in his design, he has far surpassed everything else out there, I think.
I still haven't built it the way I want to build it, which is one of the builds that Todd had in his review. He built two tiny, thin little dual coils in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So you get one airflow, hitting each one, and you get some tumble through, I'm sure, across both of them. I kind of want to do that, but I haven't done it yet because it's really good this way. So.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. So I did build I did write up a build guide. If you do land one of these guys, you absolutely should. And if you want a little hint at what I think is my current favorite build, it's on Discourse.
Mine's about the same. 3mm butterfly style cotton, same build. It works good. I do have a pretty good mouth to lung build, and I might do a build guide for that.
Yeah.
Just for anybody who is vaping it in that configuration, because it's really not that bad.
No, it's not. It's a little noisy. And,
it's just not as good as...
Yeah.
Although the top cap's still a little annoying.
Indeed. So Dr. Pennsylvania Pia is asking what we're talking about. We're talking about the Narda, N-A-R, capital D-A. It's the Narda RDA, called the Narda.
Yes.
That's what this guy is. The one thing I will mention is... in passing or in parting thoughts, one thing that's a little unusual for this thing that I noticed is it's very particular on height of your coil.
Yes.
So I built a funny thing on my Instagram. I shot a little video that showed, I hit the button and it not only was there vapor pouring out of the top, it was actually pouring out the sides here on the side, and I thought that was kind of cool. And it was doing that at 24 watts, right? I was sitting in a hangout with Sean, rebuilding it again. Because I tried a bunch of stuff, and as I was shooting the shots, I went to go shoot the ending, like the vapor shot, and I hit it, and it was just like, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. This is exactly the same build as I had when I shot the video before. What the hell is up with that? So as we, were sitting there just, jacking around and talking, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this. So I took my little needle and I lifted the coil like a millimeter. Not much. Just brought it up just a touch, so it was even more in line with the air holes. And then as soon as I did that, it just started to go crazy again. I mean, there was half this or less on the other thing, but it just has very picky about where the coil height is. So if you got one of these things, you're seeing low production for vapor, and you want more, just try lifting that little guy just a bit.
I think it is worth noting, to your point, it's not very much a beginner addy, so to speak. It's very unforgiving. Your build is very unforgiving in it. Like, you need to have it, make sure
to get it right,
and get that like good functioning build. It can be pretty unforgiving.
Maybe a bit. Like we were trying the diagonal coils, right? And you found that the just slight changes in the angle
make a big difference on the flavor.
Yep. All right, so. Enough with the Narda. I think it's awesome. I think you should go buy one. Oh, and it's not one of these guys that really likes that they're either A, super expensive, it's $89, which I think is pretty cool, and also he's not artificially limiting supply. He's actually trying really hard to get as many of these things out as possible. I think it's narmods.com, right? N-A-R.
And he's having a very hard time getting enough out to meet demand, so it might take you a little while. Just to let everybody know, they are a little bit difficult to get to. They do tend to sell out in about 30 to 45 seconds.
Right.
Go up. But I can tell you that we've both talked to the modder, and he's incredibly apologetic about that. Like, he's really trying.
He's working on it. He is working on it. So there's that. Narmods.com. Go buy one. It's freaking amazing. Next up, Council of Vapor. The Mini Volt. So if you saw me last week, you saw this little wee little monkey, which I am I'm pretty pleased about, because as everybody knows, we've got the MassMods Micro # No, you can't have one, right? I adore this thing, but you can't have one. I love the fact that we now have something you can have, and it's really inexpensive too. So this is a 40 watt, not temperature controlled, but 40 watt, and it does have a preheat. So it's got a soft mode, a normal mode, and a powerful mode, so to speak, kind of like the SX Mini. and it's super freaking small. This is a 1300 mAh LiPo inside, rechargeable over USB. One of the biggest downsides I've found so far is you can lose it on your desk. It's
Did you hit it when that happens?
Yeah, dude, it's really, really small. It can hide behind a freaking atomizer, and you wouldn't even be able to find it. It's got a spring-loaded pin, super simple controls. You've got a fire button and 2 adjustment buttons. That's how you do everything. It's in pairs. Oh, one thing is kind of cool. So you can 5-click to lock it, which it really is. It turns it off. Or in order to change the wattage, you actually have to hold the up and the fire down at the same time until it starts flashing, and then you can adjust it. So that's just another way of preventing it from firing or adjusting in your pocket. It does go off. It turns itself off in like 10 seconds or something. It puts itself to sleep, and then after a couple of minutes, it actually turns itself off. Like another 5 clicks to put back on, and it does that all to save this tiny little battery that's inside. Now, that said, you would think, okay, that's not practical. I did some tests. So in my my full-size Chris Munn Bell capped Hurricane, which is like 4 mil, I fully charged this, put this on top, and vaped it, and I was able to vape the entire tank at 21.4 watts before it died. So I think that's pretty cool, and I wanted to do it like that, right? Because everybody says, oh, this is enough to last you, 3 hours or whatever. That to me, that statistic doesn't mean anything. I could vape a lot more than you or a lot less than you, and that would change that time, right? So that's why I wanted the wattage to juice sort of ratio in an RTA. Works great. This works so well. The wattage, the 40 watts thing, works so well. You can drip on it like really, really well. I'm dripping on the Snapdragon here at the moment at 24.2 watts, but I've had it up and just maxed it at 40 now. Does it at 40 watts? Does it suck the battery life right out of that thing? Yeah, it does. But at 19, 22 watts, like you're going to be vaping a K-Fun or a Hurricane or a single coil dripper, it'll last you quite some time. It'll surprise you. Apparently, they're going to be coming out with some other colors. But I will say the finish, the black part here, is kind of rubbery. Just a little bit of a tactile sort of feel. Helps you get a hold of it. It's got a couple little lines here that also help you kind of hold it. I end up holding it kind of like a cigar. 2 fingers on top, thumb on the bottom. Works really, really well. I'm thoroughly pleased with this. The best part, besides all those other things, the next best part of this thing, it's freaking $29. $29, man. It's hard to beat with a stick. One small downside. When you do charge it, it's obviously chargeable over USB only because it's a LiPo. It does take all of like 3 hours. Like it's probably, I assume it's got a 500 mAh charging board on there. It takes a minute. To recharge, but it's awesome. Really, really good. I say go buy one. Next up, quick shout out, Omen. I got an order in from Omen, and I haven't had any new tips in a while. So I asked him for a black one. And he sent a black with like this gray streak in it. Oh, it looks so good. I really, really like this guy a lot. One of my favorite things about Omen is not only does he make quality tips, he also makes them out of titanium, which I'm kind of a sucker for titanium. I think that's pretty freaking sweet, including the new dripper he's coming out with called the Pancake, all titanium. I think it's really, really cool. So there's the black one. I asked him for a one to match, kind of match my. Ooh, look at that. That just popped right in.
Yeah, it did.
Lighting. One to kind of match my my JMFD, and he sent over this one that looks kind of dark blue unless you get the light just right, and it kind of goes bang with some blue, which I think looks cool. Also titanium, and I don't have a white drip tip, so I'm asking for a white one, and so I got a white one. So it not only looks pretty cool on the tosser, I got it because I'm wanting the white VF light, and I thought this might look cool on top of it, so I got a white one. So now I've got something a little bit different. A little white. So most of my stuff does tend towards the titanium and black and stainless. So I figured I'd do something a little different. Get a blue one and a white one. Big fan.
I have really nice Omen tips coming as well.
Yes, you do. So Omen B mods. I think if you just search for Omen on the old Facebook, you'll come up with his group. And if you can't find it, let me know. I'd be happy to send you along to him. Now my next thing I've got in here is the Vape Ford and the 26650 stuff, which we have already talked about. So I'm going to say Sean.
Cool. So, I got a little bit of vape mail and a little bit of stuff. So first off, I thought this was cool. I haven't tried this yet, but
I forgot something.
was cool. Oh, you forgot something? Go ahead.
Real briefly, it just take a moment. I got a new tank for my new tank. I just got it just this afternoon, and I even just like an hour or two ago because my mail sucks. But the same guy, his name is Pierre, that sold Fu his Hurricane and his big cap. I bought his tiny one off of him because I thought it would look cool not only in the tosser stick, which it does, but also looks really, really cool in this little tiny guy. The only problem with this one is 1.9 mil. 1.9 mil. It's really small. It's adorable, maybe slightly impractical, but I think it's really cool. And I forgot to put it in my notes because I just got it. So sorry. Thank you. Go.
I had a question come in for you as well, Brian. Does the little volt work as a pass-through, so you don't have to have it charged all the time?
Okay. So Mooch is in the thing. This is something that I wish that he was on so I could ask him this, because this is something that I don't know either. Yes, it does function, right? I can plug this thing in, and I assume it will vape. I haven't tried it like that because I usually just grab for another mod while it's charging. But no, we are charging. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, but at 500 mods, probably just charging the battery enough to keep it.
Probably. Right, absolutely. I'm sure it's just replenishing what is there, right, as you tax it. So the thing is, and here's the question that I would ask Mooch, and maybe you can answer in the chat. I have been told that that's hard on a battery. I don't know. I know there are certain manufacturers that I've read that says that they say to don't do it at all because it can hurt it. I don't know if that's true or not. So that's not something I'm claiming. That's just something that I've been told. So if we see that come up in chat on the side, I'll interrupt Sean again.
Yeah, he's watching. He said yo, so we'll give it a second for it to catch up.
We'll give him a second. He can take a second.
Okay.
Well, I can talk very briefly actually about this because I wanted to order some more Canthal. I actually wanted to order a normal sized set of Canthal so that the one would work well. 27 gauge, and I noticed that Lightning Vapes also has pre-wrapped Clapton in a multitude of different varieties. 34. This is 34, 24 core, both Canthals. I thought that was really interesting. 25 feet for like $10. I haven't tried it yet. It looks solid. Looks okay. Excited to give it a shot.
So that's weird to me, because after I've done things, and I've got my trusty drill right here, it's really not hard to build a regular. It's like a simple Clapton. It's really easy. It's really not hard at all.
Sure, but 9 something for 25 feet. Fuck it, why not?
That's true. That is a pretty reasonable price. I wonder if they make it themselves.
Yeah, I think they make it themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of money for 25 feet of wire, right?
Sure.
So you get a lot of builds out of that for like $10. So I figured it was worth the shot.
Sure.
Has Mooch answered back yet? Because that's all I have to say about that.
What are you going to put that in?
Nope, because I'm playing.
Narda probably.
I built a Clapton and put it in the Narda. I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
It was a little warm.
Try one of the Snapdragons.
It was a little warm. Snapdragon's a little warm too. I've dual coiled Clapton and Snapdragon. That's just me.
Oh, here we go. There's Mooch.
It's not hard on the battery conceptually, but perhaps the manufacturer implements in a way that stresses something. Think car battery charged by the alternator while the current can go out of the car's electronics. So, fair enough. So I guess the answer to your question is apparently. Matt, one thing I will tell you is when it's charging and it changes that little tiny screen, it's got this little charging animation of your battery, kind of going back up. When you fire it, it will fire, but you can't see what it's set to. So whatever you want to set it to it, plug it in, and apparently you can go ahead and go. And you know what? If it breaks, it's $28 or $29. It's
the same thing I said about this thing. You could freaking.
That's right.
$16 if you lose it.
That's
not a big deal.
So,
thank you, Mooch.
Something else that I have become quite infatuated with in a short amount of time. The Pico. It's so small. Nice little tiny tank. And as a lot of people have probably noticed when I go through what I'm vaping, I've kind of been slowly coming out of tanks into mouth-filling drippers and into stuff like the Nectar and the Origeny, which are top coil stuff. I haven't really gotten into a bottom coil tank in a while. And that has kind of changed with this Pico. A few things about it. It's probably the worst to build tank out there. If you want a good review and you want to see the breakdown of how it all works, I'm going to try to do some build guides of all 3 decks, but Damien from Bloody Good Vaping also did a really good review / guide, because basically how it works is the deck pops right out, and you hold the deck in with the chimney by tightening down the chimney really tight, and you have to tighten down the chimney really tight. Yeah. But 3 decks. So it comes with one for Joytech CLR coils, which function pretty well. I ordered a couple packs of those. A normal size chamber and a micro chamber, and the micro chamber is tiny. Yeah. Smallest chamber I've ever seen in anything.
I watched you build that thing, and it was amazingly small. Yeah.
There was room for my 2.5 millimeter coil and some cotton, and that was it. All the room there was in that micro chamber.
What the hell was that?
Bark and spiders.
There was room for his coil, a little bit of cotton, and that gas.
Yep. I don't know about that. That's probably too much gas.
Probably.
But the flavor is really good. It wicks. It keeps up. I don't have a problem. Although I do refill it when it's about halfway empty because I S-wicked it so there's no cotton sticking out of the holes.
Yeah. I've seen some guys, they're recommending like draping the cotton out a little bit.
Yep.
To get a hold of the rest of that.
Let me zoom up so that you can get a better view. So
that's like Typhoon.
Serious background noise, bro.
The mouth to lung.
That furnace dough.
The mouth to lung jaw is perfect with 2 holes open. I have not tried the third. I know you're more interested in that, Brian. I need to try that.
Probably.
Downside, bitch to build. It is a bitch to build.
Yeah. You should give them the high level steps to build.
Okay. Wrap coil, take out deck. It doesn't screw down to anything, so you have to hold basically the positive post. Put coil on deck. Put deck in chamber. Put chamber in atomizer. Screw down. Screw on mod. Squeeze coil if you want to do like a pulse burn. Unscrew. Take out deck from chamber and from atomizer. Cotton. Put the cotton up. Put the chamber back on. Screw it back down and fill. And it's tiny inside, so it's kind of hard to work in there. But yeah. It has some really cool features, like once you get it built and it's wicking fine and it's working good, which wasn't that difficult, really. First one took me 25 minutes. There's 4 little holes right up there. Damn it. There's 4 little holes right here on the top. You just unscrew the top cap, and you got 4 little holes there to fill it up. So it's really easy to fill up and put the cap back on, even though I used to put the cap back on backwards since I got it, up until Saturday when I saw somebody else's and said, oh, I'm doing it wrong. It's not terribly expensive, which is a plus. Without the other decks, like if you just get the Pico by itself, it's $120. So it's not a terribly expensive atomizer, and there's about to be a whole bunch of them out there. Now, if you get the CLR deck and the micro deck and the extra tank, it goes to like $200, but like $125 for the standard Pico, which is the configuration that I have it in right now.
I was about to point that out, Fu. That comment. Thanks, Understudy. All 5 of the people that have that added will appreciate it.
Less people have Nardas than Picos, I bet. We still talked about that for a while. Fuck you, guy.
So
okay, so that's what, 140 total owners between the 2 Addies?
Fuck that guy.
Picos all over the place, man.
Yeah, dude, there's Picos everywhere right now. Yeah. They're dropping all over the place. But the vape is good. There is one downside, and it could be a consequence of the fact that I don't have my chamber tight enough. If I over-tighten it on my mod, it will short. It will push the pin up, and I'm assuming that that's because I can make this chamber go tighter. Because several people have been having that problem, and you really, as Damien put it, you have to have it fucking bastard tight.
Bastard tight.
To make it function. But it's small. It's an attractive Addy. It vapes really well. For all the people that don't care, you can nap during my segment. That's fine. Yeah. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
The coolest thing about that, because to be honest, the whole peak lower chimney and chimney thing. I personally find that ugly as shit. But that's because I vape a clear juice.
Yeah.
If you vape a color juice, I don't think it'd matter. I think that part's ugly, but the fact that it's the size of a dripper.
Yeah.
And
So,
it holds like 3
let's
mils.
put it up. Let's do a size comparison with the Snapdragon. That's something we've talked about a lot here, right? So let's put the Pico up to the Snapdragon.
Yeah. And that's
That
pretty.
was 3 mil of juice. The Pico does. So 3 mil of juice, and it's the size of a Snapdragon. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's an impressively small tank, and it vapes like a very small tank. It vapes very, it's very like in your face and very warm and very flavorful and nice, like the K-Funs are when you get a super short kit.
Right.
Somebody said that there's a Ultim midsection coming out, and Ultim basically looks like stabilized piss.
Yes.
Dude, why is Altum so popular? Like,
I don't know. It looks like piss. It looks like stab piss.
it looks like you took your plastic pieces and left them out for about 5 years in the sun.
Yep.
And everything has turned yellow.
Yeah. Vitamin
Yeah.
piss is what I call it. It's gross. But I think one reason is it's a high temperature plastic and it doesn't look like PEEK, which is kind of an ugly thing as well.
And it's translucent, right? So mods can be made out of it and milled and.
Yep.
I think
that's
PEEK is less ugly than Ultim. I do. I will say this about as far as the Pico goes. If you can deal with the build, which is a little bit of a pain, but it doesn't bother me that much, and if you can deal with having to drain the tank to get to your coils, which kind of sucks, I think it vapes best out of everything that I have. Tank-wise, like mouth-to-lung tank, I think it's the best vaping one that I have. I think it has dethroned the Ubertute for me. If for nothing else, then it has multiple options and multiple deck options that make a difference.
Yeah.
I really think it's one of the best tanks that I've ever used.
I can't wait to get mine. It's a couple weeks out, I think. So
I have another one coming with yours. I'm excited because I want to put your juice in it really bad because I think it's going to be awesome. I really like it though. I really do. I wasn't sure at first, and I played with it for a few days, and it's almost all I've been using a lot. I'm very smitten with this tank. I like it a whole lot. I like the size, the look, and the vape. So it's good on all 3 accounts for me. Lastly, outside of the Pico, which trust me, guys, I'm sure that this is one of those things that you're going to be able to get pretty soon. Like they're going to be around.
Yeah.
I
Rob,
think it'll be available to all the peasants, in which I'll sell mine.
That's right. Rob, the at least abolishment is no problem in any. I've never had a problem in any tank.
Yep.
I've had it in a dozen tanks, and they're all no discoloration, no cracking, none of that shit.
Likewise with WA, which is what's been in here, and no problems, no discoloration, no nothing. So no issues with any of that stuff. So lastly, vaporsvotingguide.com. We talked about that a few months ago. It's gotten a facelift. There's some more information about election stuff and being a vapor who votes. It's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty cool. I'm going to link it here in the side chat. I'm not going to go over the whole thing with everybody, but it's worth checking out. It's vaporsvotingguide.com. Give that a check. It'll actually tell you a lot about candidates, and it'll tell you a lot about different stuff about vaping and different political people who have had different what they have to say on vaping and their stance. So definitely worth checking out. I was going to talk about the ever popular, made so by Phil Basardo, Altus, but I'm going to leave that one for Mast.
Altus! We're going to talk. That's going to be the last thing we talk about.
Hey, have you heard about Altus?
Speaking of I Vape, I Vote, and all that other good stuff, I wanted to show up the Not Blown Smoke billboard that went up, and that says, the We Vape, We Vote, and there was a different picture up on Reddit, but this is the second billboard to go up in Ohio. It's right across from the State House. So that's actually really cool. There's a few users that posted it on Reddit. That's the better picture where you can see it's kind of like 3 billboards. That's pretty big. So that's pretty cool. That's from I'll zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see the whole thing. We vape, we vote. Join our fight at CASA.org. and then down below, notblownsmoke.org, and they have the GoFundMe address on there too. So really cool to see those going up.
On our Ultim conversation, Cat Dumpling had something wonderful to say. I have a handful of Ultim picks right in front of me. It does not look like amber unless you have a chunk of amber made out of horse pee.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, so next thing I wanted to show that was pretty neat was we've seen a few people doing veneers on SX minis and M classes and stuff like that. So I thought I'd show you guys a user by the name of Dr. E Genius posted these pictures up of these amazing veneers that he has done for a user. I mean, these things just look wow.
They just glow, man.
Yeah, and here's another side shot.
That's gangster.
There are fewer gaps on that than a top hat.
There, oh, I need a wow. Got him. All right. So yeah, these veneers look awesome, and I wanted to show that to you guys. And yeah, he takes his time with these. They're nicely done. I believe people had sent him two. It's two different users, I believe. So they send them a brand new mod, and he does them on there. So pretty cool looking stuff. Speaking of Mooch, I saw someone had posted on Reddit a kind of like an homage to Mooch and the testing that he does with his batteries, and they posted a video. So I figured I'd show you the video, and basically the description of it was, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones and the whole Bell and the shame, they were shaming, some of these battery manufacturers. So without further ado, let's play that video.
Shame, 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 shame.
Shame. So I thought this is pretty hilarious. Nicely done to whoever created that video, and had the shame cowbell or the shame bell, and for all those batteries that are out there that are 60, 70 amp batteries. I just saw one today. I think it was they were claiming 9,800 mAh out of an 18650. So that was a good one.
Was that Chucky Finster in that video? It looked like.
Was it Chucky Finster or was it John Goodman?
Was it Chucky Goodman?
Chucky Goodman, or was it a derailed Chucky Goodman? I don't know. Another thing I wanted to mention was a website by the name of the Daily Caller basically had an article that came out on it was like in November. It was the date was in November of last year, that had basically saying a paper published was showing that the health reports found secondhand exposure to e-cigarette vapor is toxic, blah blah blah. Well, a lot of this stuff was basically found to be false. A lot of these quote unquote scientists were pretty much accused of cooking the books, and in these quote unquote studies. So, and unfortunately, unless a lot of that stuff is peer reviewed, and I hate all the studies that come out and on Facebook, and they get forwarded, and then your mom's sister's uncle is asking you why you're vaping and you're gonna die and all this other stuff, and it's just it's whatever the most popular one is. You know, I mean, right now no one cares about vaping. Everybody cares about the Powerball and how everyone's going to receive $4 million because we are idiots and no one can fucking do math. Yeah, if you haven't seen that one, it says what $1.3 billion. Let's you know the
specifically
1.3.
4.3 million to every person.
No, I know, but the total of the Powerball was at 1.3 billion.
Yes.
And they were dividing it by 318 million, right? And then everybody thought that everybody was gonna get $4 million. You got a bunch of idiots. That's the kind of shit that spreads like wildfire. There you go.
Just to throw that out there, the actual math is $4.33.
Yay! You know.
Buy yourself a Happy Meal or something.
Buy yourself
$4.33.
Fucking a Happy Meal. Buy yourself a calculator. Shit. You freaking can't do the math, man. Some people are proud of it. They're like, yeah. You're an idiot. Okay, so have you heard about the this tank that's like what's the name of it?
I don't think Phil has.
I think Phil. No, I don't know. The Altus, Altus. So without further Altus, let's show this fucking piece of shit. All right. You know, we'll do the pretty part first, and then we'll go on to the next. So there's the Altus tank. It's sold out, as you can see at the top left-hand corner, from Origin Vape. Looks kind of cool. Let's see another picture. There's it apart, and there's the magical coil head. Whoa, not a coil head anymore. They're calling it a chip.
Vaping Donut 2.0.
Vaping Donut 2.0. So there you can see the contacts, gold contacts, and gold writing on it. And we'll take another closer look at it. Okay, and that's a connector part. So basically,
It looks like a heated cutting board.
The part that you see with the cotton in it, the chip, basically sits in it. So basically, what these guys did is they took the fuse out of their car and they dipped it in ceramic, and now you have the next generation in things. So they are not releasing what material yet. What material is used in this part right here, which is the chip. Okay. Apparently, the guy is going for his PhD in horseshit physics, and basically, you know, they're saying that this is you're never going to have to replace your coil again. So what it looks like is it's got a 0.5 ohm coil, okay? Because I mean, you don't want to call it a coil; you can call it a flat or a flattened. A lot of people are speculating if they're using titanium or if they're using nickel for the material under there. We don't know yet.
It does support temperature limiting.
Nick's Turtle just said it's a heating element used in immersive heating elements, almost exactly the same as found in heated mixers by Rockwell.
There you go. So,
they found a hard-to-get consumer market piece of ceramic.
A hard-to-get consumer market piece of ceramic.
It isn't something they made up. They just found a hard-to-get on the consumer market piece of ceramic.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, you know, I'm trying to remember what the tank was that they just took off the market because of whatever the ceramic or the material that they were using was not very good.
Fogbank in chat says it's a paper clip and a shrinky dink.
Holy shit. So yeah, so I don't know, what else to say about this thing, but
you gotta play the horse shit clip. You gotta play the horse
shit. Yeah, you gotta play horse shit.
I don't even know if I have horse shit. Look.
Oh my god.
There is a video of a guy putting it together and vaping on it.
The guy.
Yeah, the guy, and he said in the video that he doesn't vape. Really?
Yeah, he doesn't vape.
The Altus tank is so fun; it's making him vape more and more.
That's right.
Yeah. So basically, the image that gets me, and let me pull it up from.
Hold on, before you pull that up, what he said in that video is if you vape it just right, and your cotton is just right, and you're in just the right wattage, it'll be perfect, and you'll never have a problem. I wanted to say that before you share this image.
Yeah. So basically, we've been talking about this during the day and about what the what the longevity of this centerpiece, I guess you want to call, or coil chip or whatever it might be, is, right? And how long this is going to last you and stuff like that. Because, hey, if this is this new innovative thing, then why have clips where you can change it? Well, this is from someone who's been testing it. And, ladies and gentlemen, that's only after 20 minutes of testing right there. Okay? So, you be the judge. After 20 minutes. Yeah, of course it reminds you of a fuse. Because I said they took it out of their fucking car and they put it on there.
Somebody said Mark Fagan had one and put up a video about it already today. He has one. And after a while he got it working, but he had to use 50/50 juice to do it.
Okay, so
when you call
there's what it looks like after using it for a little bit. Okay, 20 minutes. Here's my issue. All right, so it's sold out on Vape Origins or wherever the hell it was being sold, and all these people, including Felipe, was getting emails about it, asking about it, and they're overseas right now, and it's amazing to me how you can take something that ain't broken and create something and sell a shit ton of it.
At 120 bucks a pop.
At 120 bucks a pop, okay, which is just a regular tank. It's amazing to me because you have so many people that come in here and bitch about a fucking $80 Addy. And they'll go and buy a $120 Addy because, hey, let's find out what this great invention is of a coil or a chip that heats up, and you can only go from, 35 to 75 watts, and you can only run 50/50 juice in it, and it's ridiculous. That right there tells you, where we're at. We've already had this. Like 4 years ago, there was atomizers that had ceramic heating pads. This was before the vaping donuts.
And a year and a half ago, we had vaping donuts blowing up everywhere.
Yeah, and then you had your issues with vaping donuts popping and blowing up and all that other stuff. So it's hilarious how people just fall for that gimmick. And man, I'm telling you, I don't even know how many they had in stock, but at 120 bucks a pop, somebody's making a lot of money. And people are going to say, oh, well, I don't have to keep buying the replacement for the heating element. All right, we'll see what happens because you're going to want to use heat to be able to clear that element, right? Mm. Or maybe they're telling you, no, you're supposed to soak it or something like that. But, basically what you do is you take your cotton, and they show you on the video. Yeah, they comes with little squares of cotton. And you basically...
It's like 23.5 millimeters.
22.5 so millimeter by 22.5 millimeter.
Let's say this was the chip, and basically you had your cotton like this, okay? And you bend the cotton, and you put the chip in it, okay? And now you have your cotton bent right around it, and that's how you put it in the Addy, okay? Just like that. Now, in the video, there's great vapor production coming off, but it's real interesting because, man, that juice, it's pretty wide, has to flow, and this is why I'm wondering if they're having to use 50/50 juice, has to flow from the external all the way to the middle, okay, with during the heat. Now, again, this thing's only going to be going in regular mode up to 70 watts is what they suggest.
They don't suggest lower than 25.
Lower than 25, you shouldn't go to lower than 25 or higher than 70. So, hey, if you're around that and you wanna try that and give it a try, or if you have one, let us know. But so far, I just see this thing as...
I might have a line on one. We'll see.
Here's the thing. If you don't have to replace the coil unit head, that's cool. That's different. But core concept. It's a coil or heating element made of ceramic that vaporizes.
Well, can you say ceramic? Do we know for sure that it's ceramic?
It's a coil or heating element made of ceramic, silicate, some material that we don't know, which is worse. Saying that we don't know what material it is worse to me. That's
why you sell now. Ask questions later.
Sure, but I'm saying it's vaporizing. It's not. I don't think it's going to be a different vape per se. I think you might not have to change the head. I don't think it's going to change that much about the vapor. No more than nichrome to canthal, which does change a bit.
Top of the coil changing game.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to change flavor a whole lot. I don't think it's going to have an effect. It's still the same manner of vaporizing e-liquid.
By next week, there'll be another one out. And I don't remember what the name of it is, but yeah, someone just took a tank off the market because of issues with whatever heating element they were using. So, there you have it. That's what it looks like. That's the Altus tank from Origin Vape, and I don't even know what the name. I guess the name of the company is Altus. It's from Guo. Guo. That's who's making it. And they're out of stock, and they're calling it the CVU chip. Is what that chip is.
I'm the only person that has a hard time with calling that a chip.
It's non-metallic, non-toxic, with a pure and cleaner flavor delivery than any wire currently on the market.
It looks like a cartridge. It looks like the.
They say that there's no need to dry burn it. And here we go. Well, this answers my question. There's no need to dry burn it, and dry burning it voids the warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit.
So dry burning it probably melts the chip.
Dry burning it probably causes it to blow up.
Yes.
We already know the dry burning man will not.
Yeah. So you're essentially talking about Vaping Donuts 2.0.
So and they claim that juice consumption will surprise you. The tank will not drain juice like the super sub-ohm tank, such as the TFB4 or the Mutant. The Atlas sips juice economically. Well, shit, if you're running your shit at like 30, 40 watts, of course it's going to run economically, and you're not going to go through juice.
That also, honestly, it seems like something that's going to take up more juice in testing.
More vapor equals more juice.
More vapor equals more juice.
They also state that it will not oxidize under 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit. It can be used with temperature control up to 200 watts. But, and this is the part that I don't get, if you use temperature control, you know that 480 is kind of low on the temperature. I mean, I don't know. I usually ran mine around 450, 460. So right in the middle, but up to 480 Fahrenheit in temp control. So, there you go. It starts out at a 0.5 ohm coil, 0.5 ohm resistance, and it'll go up as it heats up. So there you go. That's it. 22 millimeter diameter. It's got gold-plated terminals. It's got gold-plated engraving on the chip itself.
It's gonna warm up and leave itself on your wick.
Yeah, and again, I'm not calling it a chip. This is actually what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Chip. So.
If one of us by happenstance comes across it, we'll probably give it a shot.
Yeah.
$120 is a pretty sizable investment on something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of just looks meh. So I'm not going to be purchasing one.
I was ready to buy one until I saw it was $120. No.
So we are doing Tech Time tonight.
We are
for the first time.
We are.
So we have a lot more people in the room now. So while Masty's setting up for Tech Time,
and before that's fine. Go ahead, because I wanted to show something, and I'll show it before Tech Time.
Sure. I figure we can take a quick chat about the charity again, since we have a whole bunch of people. So for all the new people in, next week is our 2-year anniversary celebration show. Last year, for our 1-year anniversary celebration show, we got a whole bunch of shit from a whole bunch of vendors, and we just gave it away. This year, we are, instead of just giving it away, we are doing a charity drive.
In typical Plumes fashion, you have to work for it now.
Yeah, Typical Plumes fashion, you have to do something to win. That something is donate to charity. One of 6 that we have. We have the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, Texas Tornado Fund, St. Jude's, Child's Play, Not Blowing Smoke, and CASA. So, we have over $7,000 worth of stuff that we're going to be giving away from a whole bunch of great vendors that we listed off earlier. So if you catch the beginning again, you'll see that. And we will be running this till probably next Sunday. So we will be accepting donations till next Sunday, and then we will be live drawing during the 2-year show next Monday.
Right.
So you have a chance to win some really cool stuff. You have a chance to give some to some charities, which is awesome and fantastic, and I really hope that we can all together raise a buttload of money for some really great charities. What we didn't put in before is there's some disclaimers for international viewers.
Yes.
Disclaimer number 1, there's about 5 or 6 raffle pieces that are U.S. only. In order to keep this smoothly, if your name comes up on one of those, I'm really sorry. I don't have a better way to say it than I'm really sorry. Because if your name comes up on one of the U.S. only and you're international, there's nothing that we can really do about that.
Yes.
Other than that, outside of that, a few vendors may also require you to pay the shipping. There's not a lot. Most of our vendors are very international based. There's only, I think, like 3 or 4 vendors that are U.S. only. It is in the doc or in the tier structure in the discourse link that Brian posted, which will give you all the information about how to sign up, how to join, how to fill out. All that information is there, and it will also tell you in the tier structure of what prizes you can unlock based on how much money we have raised, what prizes are U.S. only. But that's important to note because I know we have a lot of international viewers, and we're trying to be as what's the word?
Fair
Fair
Diplomatic.
as possible.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
We want everybody to have a chance to win stuff.
That's right.
This stuff. You just might have to pay shipping. And I'm sorry for that, but you might have to pay shipping. I'm going to feel really bad if a UK vendor wins one of the US only prizes, or a UK wins one of the US prizes. I'm going to feel horrible, but I'm sorry. That's the only way that we can make everything smooth, because this is a pretty massive, massive charity to organize. It's largely massive. I mean, there's what, 20-some vendors or more, 30-some vendors maybe. I don't know. There's a lot.
There might be a million.
30, just shy of 30 vendors from the looks of it.
Yeah, I don't have that up anymore.
Yeah. So we have just shy of 30 vendors and over $7,000 worth of stuff. So.
Right. Super awesome stuff. Great juice.
Yeah.
Awesome mods. Some really cool mods.
Some stuff that you can't get anywhere, like we have 2 Evolve DNA 200 reference mods.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have a prototype Velocity, the only one in the world that will go to a person.
Yep.
Like there's 3 of them. Cisco has all 3, and he's gonna.
And he's not a person.
I want a free Velocity.
So it doesn't count, but he's gonna. So it'll be the only one that the public ever has, prototype Velocity.
No serial number. Just awesome.
There's also a. There's also a. Damn it. A Narda, which is very difficult to get right now, which is really cool. Big thanks to him. And Axis Mods DNA 200. I just got a message, and this is an announcement that I would like to make. Lane Cove Vapor has just sent me a message, Miss Ruby Roo. They will donate 10% of the total raised. So as much money as we raise, they will donate 10% out of their own pocket to Not Blowing Smoke.
Whoa,
Ruby
that's
Roo.
awesome.
How much we raise. So
Ruby,
fantastic. Ruby, we love you. Thank you. That gives me even more desire to make sure that we raise a whole bunch of money, because that means that a whole bunch of money will go to Not Blowing Smoke. You do not have to be present for the live show to win.
Nope. That's why we have the forum.
Yeah. If you can be here, I suggest that you could, because there might be some surprises for live viewers.
Oh,
All right. Are we ready for tech time?
we are.
That
what
link,
is tech time? Let me clear the cobwebs out of the.
I know, right? That link, the
yeah.
charity link, is in the YouTube description to Discourse. That will tell you how to like sign up and enter and
It's
fill
been a
out.
while. Like certain like pre-ordered mods are finally arriving to people. It's been a while since our last time.
Mast, you have been.
I was on Cloudmaker time.
The entire screen is yours. You have been.
All right, so what we're going to show here today is something we had talked about a little while ago. Vera Tube came out with a new 510, and I'm going to show you some pictures first to show you what it looks like inside of the mod, okay? This is the inside of a mod. Up at the top, you can see that the 510 is resets down, and you see the internals there of the 510, okay? And here's a little bit better picture. You see it with an Addy on it, okay? And I'm going to show it to you up close. Basically, this is the new version of the Vera Tube. I'm going to show you the old version here on the right, and here is the new version, okay? Not much different looking on the outside, but the inside is what counts. Okay, when you buy the 510, this is what you're going to get. You're not going to have to, like the old one, right? So you got your 510 like this, okay, and you had to take it apart, and then you had to take this, little pin and hold it on something and solder your positive into it, and then put your spring and your retainer, and again, this is an older one, but same thing, and then put everything together, and then, there was your 510. You still have your negative lug and your nut, okay? But as you can see, this 510 is just a hair longer, okay? And everything is now captured internally, okay? There's your center pin, all right? And as you can see, the way that works is the pin pushed down, right? It's all internal and kept in there, okay? So when you get the 510, you don't have to put anything together. Now, what does that do for you? That is going to make any resistance issues or any issues with the spring carrying any kind of load, if you ever soldered to the side instead of putting the wire in, if you've ever had any 14 gauge or any thicker wire, that the hole for the 510, it was, you try to widen it out, and you have issues with. Let me pull this one out here so you guys can see. You have issues with the collar around it and stuff like that. So all those things are now fixed, and I think one of the most important things is that there is now a solid. There was before, okay, but there's now a solid connection between. This is the positive end, okay, between the pin that goes from here all the way through. That is a solid brass pin. Okay, so for your DNA mods and stuff like that are very, very picky on your resistance. When you do the resistance checks, this thing's going to work out amazingly. You got your insulators on top and bottom, and the only difference is, again, it's a little bit longer, and you want to leave a little bit more room internally, which you wanted to anyways, because I saw a lot of people would build a mod, and then you'd have the bottom like this, and you'd have something pushing up against this where as the pin tries to travel down. So you want to be able to leave some room down below, so when you put your Addy on, you actually leave a little bit of room for that pin to expand. Okay, and this insulator will move in and out. Okay, and the ones that you get might look like
Master. It looks like Peak.
Yeah. Yep. And the ones you get might look a little bit different. It just there might be some things that changed, but pretty much physically they're going to look the same. All right. So another advantage of this is you can basically use this 510 and solder any gauge wire that you want on here. Okay. I mean, I don't have my calipers in here with me, but this is some thick ass 16 gauge. Okay, and look at all the room for activities on there.
Okay, so you can use. I mean, I don't know where my. Let me see if I can find. I don't even know where my like 1110 gauge shit is. But anyways, you get the point. It's gonna be a lot easier for you to be able to do thicker gauge wire if you want, and it'll still come with the nut. And it'll, you'll still be using your negative lug, put all that stuff on there, okay? So it'll look a little bit different, but there you have it. And they're gonna have the smooth ones. I believe these are already up for sale on Vera Tube's site. And so let's stop talking and let's solder this sucker up. So what you want to do is, and this is something that I'm going to do. You want to take an atomizer and put it on.
You have to have a nuclear.
That's such a cute atomizer.
Yeah, it's so cute. Sean sent it to me. Say what, Anxie?
Do you have to have a no fear atomizer, or does it work with any of them?
No, you can do it with any atomizer, and you really don't even have to have the atomizer on there. So let's just do it without. Okay. The reason that I put the atomizer on there is because if you see this thing is threaded in here, okay, and you can move this up or down by threading or unthreading. Well, when you do that and there's no atomizer, it's just going to slip on the pin in here. So we'll put the Addy on there to kind of keep it in check so it doesn't move on us. All right. And let's go ahead and mount this sucker up on our jig. All right. And all I'm going to do to this thing is I always use some flux. Some flux on there. Make sure we can get all this in there. And now remember, this was a lot easier to solder if you were doing it with a torch or you're doing it with your soldering iron, because it's a small piece of brass, okay? So it's going to heat up and stay about the same temperature really quickly while you're doing that. This now has this piece of brass here, and it connects down to the other solid piece of brass at the top, which is the pin that you hit. So keep that in mind when heating this up. Remember that you don't want to have a cold solder joint, and there's plenty of videos online that you can see what that looks like. We've talked about it before on the show, and so you just want to be diligent with your heat. Not too much, not too little. You're not going to hurt it if you're holding the soldering iron there for a long period of time. But you'll see that just holding the soldering iron there for a second is not really going to do the trick for you. So, all right, let's solder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead of solder on here first, okay, before actually soldering the wire to it. All right. There's a nice little bead. All right, and now I'm going to prepare my wire. Again, I'm using the thickest that I have right now in front of me, which is 16 gauge. So let's take this 16 and cut off a straight piece. And depending on how you're going to mount this, you could do it this way, but I suggest coming off to the side, and then you can just have a regular bend, or it's going to come down from the inside of your mod and naturally bend down. So I'm going to strip off the piece. There's a wire. I'm just going to tin this over here where I can see it. Again, I always use some kind of flux. I like using paste because it sticks. But always remember to make sure you're using a flux that's not going to cause any corrosion. And if you're not sure, use some flux off. It'll clean the board nice.
Massey, Dr. Abbott is saying tinning is coating with solder, right?
Yes, that is correct. So tinning is actually putting some, basically putting some solder on the wire before putting it on there. And let's get this guy going. Okay. Some flow.
Man, that does take a minute to heat up, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. And, try to get it close, but basically, let me get some of this flux.
Flutzy wants to know if you're wearing your safety goggles, by the way. Safety first.
Yeah, I am wearing my safety goggles. Come on, camera. So, there you go, nice and smooth. All right, and like I said, you could either leave it like that, or you could, you come down to the side. You can, I mean, even if you wanted to, you could, take a piece of heat shrink and come up right up to it if you want. So now that it's done, we'll check it by letting the atomizer go up. Okay, it retreats all the way back up, and we'll put it back on just to make sure. So there you go. And you could have this installed inside of your mod. I don't have a box with me right now that has a hole in it where I could show you, but you could have this all installed inside your mod and actually solder this while it's on the mod, because you're not going to have to worry about melting this guy here, the insulator. And then you'll take your whatever you have for the soldering for the negative lug, you put it on there. You can already have your nut set up and tightened down. So there you go. That's got to be the easiest solder job. And I mean, this guy's on there on a 510. I mean, it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about taking things apart, putting them together, or a pin. There's some 510s out there, like some of the Fat Daddies, that have a pin that sticks out of the bottom. It makes it a lot harder to do thicker gauge wire, trying to put it in that, solder to that pin. But there you go. That's it. It's a new Vera Tube 510s. I don't know what he's calling them. I don't know if he's calling them like V8 or version 9 or whatever it is, but there you go.
So Gail Mazdy has a question. He said, doesn't flux contaminate the area? And that's sort of the opposite of what it does, right? It cleans up all the oxidation.
Flux is going to basically make sure that the metals are clean. Flux is really it's like an alloy, okay? When you think about it, when I'm talking about tinning stuff and stuff like that, you want to use it when you're doing anything with brass. Soldering with brass or silver. But basically, the problem comes when you have with the flux. The problem comes when it's corrosive. Okay, and if you leave it on a board, I'm trying to find a picture of what a board will look like when it has some flux that's been left on and it's becomes corrosive. Basically, it starts eating away at the board. So you want to make sure that you clean stuff off. There is some flux that is non-corrosive or it has corrosive inhibitors in it. But those tend to suck. So the other important thing to remember about the flux is that depending on the flux that you're using, they do remain conductive after soldering. So that's more important than the corrosion. So they do remain conductive. So if you have something like I don't have like a DNA board on me right now, but if you have something that you're really close and you're soldering and you've used some flux, if you want, you don't have to, but you really want to make sure that area gets clean, because you can have a bridge just by leaving a little bit of flux on there. So it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen with the flux, but it's really up to the person to be able to, if they want to use it or not. So.
Word.
Before
tech time.
Before we close, I do want to mention one other thing because I want to make this very, very clear. You do not, in any way, shape, or form, have to be present next week to win.
Yeah, you just give up your right to throw up your hands in victory.
Yeah. But I would suggest that you watch, because we're not going to be reaching out to people individually. We're just going to be sending the information to vendors. Right. So I do suggest that you at least watch the replay to find out if you won. Otherwise, you might just get something in the mail. It could be a very nice surprise, actually.
Sure.
So there is that option, but you do not have to be here. We've structured this in such a way that it's very much built for everybody who watches the show, not just the live people. If you can be here, though, you should.
Word
on that.
Gosh, is that about it?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What up?
So for all the people that are watching, thank you for coming by and watching this thing and hanging out with us for a little while. Thank you for people that watch it again on YouTube's. And big thank you to the both the vendors as well as the people donating to these charities. Good on you. We appreciate it, and we hope you guys have good luck next week.
Yeah.
Yep. Peace out.
Peace.